What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Caffeine Essential Beats podcast. This is Chiwin. I am not I'm the other co-host. One Cake Man is out of commission for right now because they had their baby. So congrats to them. But the show must go on. Yeah. So we are bringing back a guest we've had before. Uh, we've had the honor of listening to him break down some of his favorite moments in the film. And now we're going to bring him back to his favorite character, if I'm not mistaken. Am I incorrect about that, Silv?
Oh, definitely, man. He's the main man. He is the prince.
The prince. We are talking about the prince, Vegeta. So we are going to be talking about Vegeta this episode, and if you listen to our last episode, we transitioned from the movies into just character analysis. And last episode we talked about Goku, and in this episode we're talking about Vegeta. And Vegeta's is my favorite character. And you say he's your favorite character?
Of course, man. You gotta love his character.
Yeah.
His personality.
Yeah, his personality.
He never accepts defeat.
That's the boy. I mean, he has a lot of tenacity, right? I think when I think about Vegeta, I think about tenacity. Is just
exactly. He's very tenacious.
Yeah, he just doesn't know when to quit. I mean that could be his detriment too, right? I think he doesn't know when to quit, and we see that very evident in the films. But
against Frieza, remember, he's like, "Ha, I'm Super Saiyan."
Yeah,
No, you weren't Super Saiyan yet.
But I think that's kind of what makes his character kind of dope to me, though. You know what I'm saying? Is like he is just so unaware, I think, sometimes of his own strength, but also of his own weaknesses. Like he reminds me of that person that, like, if you were to ask him in a job interview, like, what are some of your weaknesses? I think he would say none. Because I don't know if he's that aware of himself in that way, which I love about him. But it's also, sometimes that could be to his downfall. But historically, I mean, when did you first start liking Vegeta?
And as soon as they got the gun out, that was sick. When Goku and Vegeta went at it, man. The first time out, he was just handling everyone on his own. Most impressive. And just his persona.
Remind me when that was. When was that?
His persona of how Dragon Ball Z, when the Saiyans arrival, the Saiyan saga.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when Nappa and Vegeta first arrived, and then Goku shows up, manhandles Nappa, and it's just like, get the fuck out of here, Nappa.
Yeah. He's so ruthless back then. I love to see his trajectory. I love to see. He
still is to a degree.
Yeah, he is. He is. I mean, I think as of late, though, I think they've kind of played a little bit. He's a little bit more civil, but back then, man, he was just he kind of reminds me of what Frieza is now.
Is what he aspired to be, right? I mean, he was raised by Frieza. Frieza was technically like his stepdad, kind of, after Frieza eradicated him all. Not the best mentor or stepdad, but I mean, he's the one that's... Wait. Well, he wasn't... He wasn't... Yeah, Frieza kept Vegeta in a ship when he destroyed planet Vegeta. He's like, I want your son. He told the king, he's like, you have to give me your son. And then afterwards, he blew up the planet and blah, blah, blah. And he kept on his ship. See, the movie took a different... That. Yeah, it's because the movie changed it a little bit. So they gave Goku a little bit more of a backstory, more of like a family. And same for Vegeta when he was out on the mission with Raditz.
Shit, I don't remember that. I don't remember when Frieza was his second dad. I don't remember that.
Not necessarily a second dad like that.
Well, that's what you said.
I said not necessarily, like kind of, in the sense that he kept him in his ship and he raised him. So that's why he's so similar to Frieza. He's so similar to Frieza in that aspect. I mean, you're gonna be who brought you up, who his mentor was at that point was just Frieza, because he wanted the little perfect soldier, right? and also not to let the possibility of like he probably did think that Vegeta had the highest probability of becoming a Super Saiyan. So it's like, I'll keep this guy under wraps.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, right? Like they thought he was gonna be like the big dog, right? Like they thought he was gonna be like
because of his power levels were insane. Yeah, his power levels were insane as a newborn. So, he was going to class A or something like that missions when he was like fucking 7.
Yeah, man. So when I think about his trajectory, I mean, you got to start there, right? It's like he's kind of like the next one in line to just be the big dog, right? Like people look at him as the next big thing, and that's a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of pressure to hold, and I think that's something
carried it well.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I don't know if he carries it well. I think he carries it. To me, when I look at Vegeta, I look at somebody that's in many ways faking it until he makes it. But that's just because of the way that I see him. I see him as somebody that I think he thinks that he is the big dog.
He wants to believe it.
He wants to believe it, but he's not. And I think that is one of the tragedies of his character, but it's one of the most beautiful parts about him too, is the fact that he was destined to be the big dog.
He was born into it, yeah.
Right, he was born into that responsibility, which again I say, I mean, it's a big responsibility to carry, and I don't know.
Being the prince.
To be a prince, and then to be a king of a planet that doesn't exist, right? So then, what are you really a king of?
Yeah. I think they pretty much took over Earth passively. Goku and Vegeta, but that's a different story.
I'm sorry, man. It's kind of. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part. What'd you say?
Oh, no worries. I was just saying that they pretty much took over. I think Planet Vegeta is now Earth for them, but at this or whatever their planet is called. Actually, I don't actually know what they call their planet. It is Earth, right?
I think so. I think it's called Earth. I mean, look, man. I'm not. Hey, man. If you're listening to us, you know that we're not claiming to be the biggest expert.
Yeah.
But we know we know a couple of things. But his
aficionados.
Aficionados, and I think his trajectory is interesting because it starts off as this prince destined for greatness, and then he kind of, once he hits Goku, he kind of gets a little bit of some humble pie, right? A little bit of a check of like, oh, I'm not the big dog that I thought I was. But that is when I start that. I'm thinking about the first time that I started really liking Vegeta, and because up to the I mean, in the Saiyan saga, right? Like he's the bad guy, right? So it's like, kind of like Goku right now at this moment, right? But then when he goes to Frieza, the next one, he you kind of start to see a little bit of a turn. It's not a very obvious turn, right? Like it's not a very obvious turn of his character when you start to see that shift. To me, the biggest shift, or the when I started to really notice of like, oh, this dude's tight, is when he's fighting the androids.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? It's when he's fighting.
Dr. Joro comes in, he just fucking rips his arms off, and it's like, That's a Super Saiyan when he finally went Super Saiyan. Yep.
When he finally went Super Saiyan, and then you start to see a kind of a turn in him where he's kind of like, oh. But that's the thing, is like, it's not an obvious turn where he's not doing it out of the goodness of his heart. You know what I'm saying?
But dude, like, I just wanted to, talking about that, for me, like, if you want to see like where I start to see more of like true Vegeta, his few times he has beautiful moments, man. Like, honestly, because I mean, he calls out Goku because at the very end of the Dragon Ball Super, I love that about Vegeta's, like, because Goku's like, "What's kissing?" I was like, "What? You never kissed your wife?" No, what is that? I was like, "Goku, are you married for this long and never kissed your wife? You have kids." I was like, "Yeah, we do." I love how Vegeta's actually a really good family man, dude. He's responsible. He takes over. Even as a leader, like, he just did as he was supposed to do under Frieza at that point, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, in the next points, he starts becoming his individual. He started seeing that he chooses independent. When he's an independent, like right after the Frieza saga, he chooses not to kill. So that's true. I think that's a big change already. And like, but I think the biggest one, going back to what I was trying to say in the beginning, the biggest one is when he was in Namek in his death, in his death moment. He's like, Goku, please. I didn't want to be like this. Frieza made me do this. And even the dragon, right? He said, bring back everyone who was good or something along those lines. Like, who was killed by Frieza that was good. Because he could have just brought back everyone that Frieza killed, which killed a lot of bad guys too, his own henchmen. But they didn't. Frieza was one that got brought back after the Dragon Ball wishes. But yeah, man, that you see them, you see him open up to Goku and apologize, and he's like, pretty much saying, I'm supposed to be the prince, you need to carry this responsibility. And Goku's like, dang, I've never seen him like that.
Yeah, I think you hit it. I think you're hitting on something that I think really resonates about Vegeta is, so even though he's a really prideful character, there are moments like you briefly touched upon it, but I think a lot of us can agree that Vegeta has a lot of the memorable moments in this anime, right? Like I think he has a lot of the memorable moments, and I think a big part of it is the fact that in those moments you see a lot of vulnerability in him.
His weaknesses. His weaknesses actually, gave him strength now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't totally agree to that. Sorry. That now that he's,
I was just thinking like Trunks, Majin Buu, Bulma, and Beerus. That's when he falls out.
Yeah,
some of his most powerful moments. I mean, he almost beat Majin Buu, almost by himself. That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, man. I mean, and it's because he taps into that vulnerable piece of himself that he's not willing to show it to anybody. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what's kind of dope about him. I mean, in many ways, he tries to hide his feelings, but he's a really emotional character. That I think really speaks to I think the importance of him in the show and even in the movies. I think in many ways he's the heart of the show. I don't know if I don't know if the show would be as impactful as it is without him.
I know, right? And it cracks me up that Toriyama hates him.
Yeah, man, you keep saying that, man. You keep saying that. I want to hear these sources, dog. Where are you hearing this from, man? Where?
These are facts. Toriyama himself said it himself that he does not like Vegeta. Here, I'll
you said that.
Wait, I will send you the link later. But that one, that one for sure, Toriyama is a fact that he does not like the character of Vegeta.
Well, that's interesting. I wonder.
He stayed there. He stayed there just because the fans like him, and fans are just upset that he doesn't. It's just funny. I find it amusing.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting take. I mean, I don't know, dude. It sounds to me like Toriyama doesn't like anybody.
No. Why do you think Goku's always so easily able to surpass Vegeta, even though Vegeta was training for months ahead of time when he was with Beerus, and then Goku surpasses him in like weeks? And the same thing for training with Super Saiyan 2, 3.
But I think it goes. I think that goes to folks that are just naturally just gifted at something. So like you can work your ass off, and I mean I can train my ass off. That doesn't necessarily mean that like I'm gonna have the technical skill of Ronaldinho. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's what made me fall in love with Goku in the beginning. Though it was like he wasn't the ultimate. Like most gifted, like he was gifted, but he wasn't the most gifted. Krillin and him were like pretty competitive in the training days of Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
now, I really enjoyed that series. Like it just really showed like as long as you're tenacious, blah blah. But even speaking of them, like Vegeta would have gone back in that one too. They did a version of Vegeta, like this was a fandom that Toriyama gave the okay.
Oh, but it's what if Vegeta was in Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
Oh, what was that? What was that like? I never heard of that before.
I was like, what if Vegeta was sent to Earth instead of Goku? This is a fandom that Toriyama gave it okay. Like he was like, yeah, that's pretty good, and he agrees. And essentially, Vegeta goes in, but he's far stronger than Goku, being that he's born A-grade class Saiyan, right?
Yeah.
So he already knows how to fly. Bulma arrives, and then boom, Vegeta. It's like, oh, what are you? It's like tries to blow her up. It's like you're trying to take my Dragon Ball, or like my food. So same kind of start and beginning, except he's just far superior, stronger. He can fly. he obliterates all of the enemy. They bump into the Red Room army like literally a few pages later, and he takes out the entire army at once by himself, 0 training. Like, he does go to Master Roshi for a little bit, but he's just far better than anyone else. He's never struggles in the series, you know. And like he does through all the trials Goku does, but without having to experience any resistance, honestly. And so it gets to the point, and I'm just gonna skip ahead. So here comes the Saiyan saga, but this time, instead of Raditz comes first, he kills him, no problem. Literally, just kills him like one blast. And then Goku comes with Nappa.
Okay.
And then Goku and Vegeta talk, but instead of fighting and everything else, they team up and they all try to go and fight Frieza together. And they get murdered. But let me explain.
That was anticlimactic. That was quite the build-up for a fan-made. So what you're describing right now to our listeners is a fan-made story about Vegeta switch places with Goku.
What if Vegeta? Correct.
Yeah.
But it makes sense, and they later goes on to explain the reason this happens is because he did not have to go through any of the training that Goku did. And because of that training, Goku was able to learn abilities like Kaioken, Spirit Bomb, etc. Vegeta never died, so he was never to learn any of these moves. None of these trainings, or what you can call, the Saiyan power up from when you're dying, when you're weaker. I guess you got fatter power ups.
Yeah. That's the rationale behind him not succeeding. I think it brings upon an interesting question about Vegeta. I mean, we like him so much, right? You and me both. I mean, to me, he's my favorite character, and I think that he's yours. I mean, it really begs the question of if Vegeta actually could be the leading character of this show ever. Does he have what it takes to lead a show?
I wanted to say yes, but no. You know what I compare him to? I was thinking about this recently. He's like Flanders.
Yeah, Simpsons, right?
Yeah, he's like Ned Flanders from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like everyone here's Goku, this like lovable idiot, and then here's Flanders, like the most capable, organized family man, etc., whatever you want to call it, and everyone hates him, or he's not the most loved, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but he's a beloved character. He's a beloved character. So people want there. Because I want to see, this is the effect that Vegeta has, though, right? I think he's like, we want to say yeah. I think we all want to say yeah, we would love a show about Vegeta, but I just don't think that for some reason there's something that makes me hesitate about whether he can actually lead the show, and I don't know.
Hearing it, right?
And I'm not really sure as to why that is. There's something missing about him, and I'm
his persona.
But I love his persona. I love the way he is. I love the coldness of him. I love the way he comes. He always has like the coolest entrances. He has some of the coolest moves.
Funniest lines ever.
Yeah, he has some of the funniest lines.
Spanish.
Yeah, he has some of the funniest lines. But there's something missing about him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not really sure as to what that is.
He's not charismatic. Goku's just a charismatic guy, man. You can't love. How can you hate on Goku? Ultimately, he's the guy. He's also the guy you see as tenacious, and like he's always surpassing barriers. While Vegeta wasn't made to be that character. He was just the way he was set up. Everything, even if he was sent to Earth, it's it was just explained. At least from a fan's point of view, like, it makes sense. He's just born into privilege, right? So we all love Goku, that he's like this lower tier guy, and like if you're more metaphorical, alien, quote unquote immigrant, I made it over here, and like he's just surpassed it all. Well, Vegeta is more so is seen as like the elite immigrant who moved over here with a Ferrari in his own house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no struggle there. I mean, he's not a bad guy, but
yeah.
But,
I mean, I wouldn't say a pod is a Ferrari, but yeah. I hear what you're saying. He was born into luxury, right? He was born. He wasn't born with I guess you would say a deficit in his name, right? Like he was, if anything, he had everything put in place to be the best. You know, like he had all those things granted to him. So I mean, it makes sense. But even the class part of like putting that stuff aside, I think just as a character, I think if they were to ever make a show about Vegeta and he was the leading character, he needs to have a super strong support cast, and the show has to be dark. I feel like that's the only way that he would thrive is in a really dark show. I don't think that it could be as like, oh, so goofy.
It's true upbringings.
You know what I'm saying? Like so like goofy about like Beerus and like Cake and like all this stuff. Like it needs to be like super gritty, I feel like. But I could be wrong.
Yeah. I would love to watch to see his ways up until the point where he meets Goku. You know, it'd be a great way to just cut the end. I could see that being entertaining up until the point, like let's say, because Raditz dies, right, and they were hearing the whole battle, so it'd be cool if they ended the season at the point where if he hears Raditz dying, it's like, huh, Earth, huh, blah blah blah, or some shit like that. But I would enjoy watching his upbringings. It is super dark, man. I mean, he was kidnapped from his father. They murdered his father. He's not an idiot. He always played coy. He obviously knew because he says it instead. So he's a smart kid. Like he knew how to survive. So I mean, it was luxury,
he's a
Also,
survivalist. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it was in luxury, but he's I don't know, like almost an Uncle Tom, you know. He was a slave with privileges.
Okay. Take it easy.
Take it easy. I mean, he was
Uncle Tom is a sellout though. Uncle Tom was like, "Hey, are we sick, master? Are we sick?" You know what I'm saying? Like that's Uncle Tom, man. I don't think he's Uncle Tom. I think he's the one that owns. He's the one that owns the empty plantation now, and I think that is what.
True.
That is who he is. He is the if we're gonna use your slave plantation analogy, like it's not that he's not a slave. He's not Kunta Kinte. He's not a runaway slave.
Kunta Kinte was a prince.
No, man. Yeah, but he was a prince. He was a prince of an African tribe.
He is a slave. All the Saiyans were slaves, dude.
Yeah, I get that.
All of the Saiyans were slaves.
I get that, but
they were literally his slaves.
Yeah, but he is from an upper class. So
yeah, that's it.
So and that's what I'm saying. Kunta Kinte didn't. I mean, we're going further away, but I want to just hit this point is that he didn't inherit a home. You know, he was taken from his home. Vegeta, on the other hand, was not taken from his home. His home was destroyed, but he still holds on to the title of a prince and you know potentially being a king. But he can't be a king of anything. So I think that's one of the big.
Did Frieza ever call him prince?
You said what?
I was just gonna wonder, did Frieza ever call him prince, or was it just the Saiyans?
I think it's just the Saiyans, dude. I don't think I don't remember Goku ever calling him Prince Vegeta.
No, Goku didn't even know. I don't think Frieza respected that anymore of it. He was just Vegeta.
Yeah, he's just Vegeta.
Then mocked him. Then when he would mock him, it's like, it's Vegeta, Prince of the Saiyans.
Yeah,
I mean that's never out of respect. And then and he would say it with pride, which was cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a proud dude, which is interesting because he does come from a higher class, but he's still really proud of his people, which I think which is something that I think that the show and the movies kind of went away from. You know what I'm saying? Like they've kind of have pivoted out of the Saiyan like trope, I guess you would say, or even out of this Saiyan like pathway, right? Like they don't even really mention that they're Saiyans anymore. But to me, that's probably some of the strongest like storylines that they have. You know what I'm saying about Saiyans. Like I look at his role in Super, and like I hate what they've done with him in Super. What you think about his interpretation of or like his showing in Super of Vegeta?
I mean, it was entertainment. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was hilarious. His little dance insane. But I know what you're saying. Like they changed him from being like this. I mean, he's just not aggro. I mean, you can see right there how he hates Vegeta. I think that's one thing. And he made him into a fool sometimes to little Jester, especially against Beerus. But then again,
I got the perfect example of where I know Toriyama. If your theory is correct, I know the exact moment where I know that he hates this man.
Which one?
It's in Resurrection F of
oh my god,
Super,
seriously, I know
where
Vegeta
Vegeta is about to kill Frieza, and then all of a sudden this man, nope, let's change this, let's change the course and have Goku kill him. That is man, that was so frustrating. I don't know if you heard our tier list, but I know that scene single-handedly made me put that movie like at the very bottom of my list, just because of how disrespectful it was to my guy. You know, like how disrespectful.
I forgot him. I thought it was bad. Just
to change.
I thought it was just a rip-off. I thought it was just a rip-off of the episode of Frieza coming back the first time to Earth, with Future Trunks. Except that episode was better because Trunks cut them up like he was supposed to, like Vegeta was supposed to do similarly.
It's just they don't. This is my problem with Super and Vegeta's an iteration. And I mean, look, I gotta tell you. I mean, in Super Broly the movie. So this is because I also want to tie it back to the movies, right? Because we did just talk about movies, and I just want to also bring it back to the movies. So what I'll say is that one of the movies that he's in, right, is Super Broly, and I say that he had one of the more powerful showings of the film. I thought he held his own against Broly, but then they do the same shit with them every single time, and this is where I worry about Vegeta in the future, about what needs to happen to him. I don't know if he just needs to leave and go to another show. I don't know if they need to just retire him or just kill him off. I don't know, but they keep they keep making his character like it's almost like that guy that like gives the layups. He's the one passing up the layup, and it's like he has an empty lane. He has a clear lane to the basket, and like they're forcing him. Like the coach is like, "Nah, dog, you gotta lay it up to my boy right here because he's the dunker, right? He's like the main dude." And like they keep doing this to him where he's just always the layup guy. He's always a layup guy, and it's like, dog, he can score, dog. Like he can finish somebody off, dude. Like you could do that, but they don't want to do it, man. It's just like it's gotten worse as Super went on. It got worse, of like how much they went out of their way to knock Vegeta off.
I see where you're going with that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree to a point, but it's at the same time. I mean, he held his own against Jiren as well. Not many people were able to do that.
I'm having a hard time hearing you, man. You're a little far away.
Oh, sorry. How about now?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm right next to you.
He was able to hold his own against Jiren, though. I mean, that's also like another mad respect. I mean, not many can.
Yeah, but Jiren was
not by themselves.
Though. Jiren was whack.
Jiren was a demon.
Yeah, no, Jiren was probably one of the worst villains that I've ever seen on a Dragon Ball.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. He's up there for me. Horrible, but I hear you though. He held his own against probably the strongest,
character in the universe, apparently.
Yeah, character that they've ever come up against, right? Because he's like the strongest person that they've come up against, or strongest thing that they've ever come up against.
It's definitely something.
Yeah, so he held his own, and we got to give him respect to where it's due. He's a strong fighter. I think we all know that. I think he's
a great father. That's for sure.
Yeah, maybe we should talk about that, man. We could pivot into what his trajectory has been. it's been interesting to see him go from a really selfish person to a family man. You know, I think you especially see that.
I love that growth.
I forget in which movie it was, and one kick talked about it last time. It was I want to say it's BoJack, where Vegeta, where Vegeta is feeling like this. I think he's like feeling sad that Goku's dead, so he's just like, I don't know what to do with myself because, I mean, that's not him saying it, but it's Trunks saying it, right? Trunks is saying like, oh, my dad is just not the same anymore since Goku died, and that was one of the aspects that we liked about the film. But there was a moment where Trunks and him had like a dialogue as they were fighting BoJack, and it really kind of just hit me of like, oh, like this dude, he's a dad now, and like he's really like embodying that, like I wonder. I mean, I don't know how he is as a dad because I don't know how his relationship with his dad was. Do you know his relationship with his dad? Like what happened there? I mean, they killed his dad when he was hella young, huh?
Because he didn't want to give Vegeta away. So I don't know in detail, but from what I can deduce from that, I mean, he fought back and then he died. Vegeta killed him. So I would have to assume that his dad was pretty close to him. Not too close, but I mean close enough to the point where he'd rather die than give away his son.
Yeah. But I wonder if Vegeta felt that because, and the reason that I'm bringing this up is because I wonder if that plays a role in the type of father that he is. Because he had his dad die hella young. When he was hella young, and if that affects him as he becomes a father,
right.
Because
well, even think about it. He sacrificed himself for Trunks too, just like his dad did.
That's true. You're talking about Majin Buu, right?
Yeah. And also kind of in a similar way, it's like, take my boy away. They did it in secret.
What you mean? What you mean?
Well, he was like, yeah, go get Vegeta ready. And then Frieza came in and tried to do the little mini takeover. And he got obliterated, obviously, because it was Frieza. But, But Trunks kind of did the same thing with Trunks when he knocked him out. It's like, all right, I'm gonna put you to sleep here. Don't worry about it. Because he pretty much accepted death at that point. Both him and his father. So it's like they do. I think that's just the saying love. I don't know if they would say it, but I mean, also, it's like you're saying. It's like you're saying. His evolution as a character, is seen when he becomes more human-like, and he has those emotions because of Bulma, Goku, everyone around him. In time, and like you said, just being a father, holding his boy, it changed him.
Yeah, it changed him, which I think leads to him to be to an anti-hero, right? Like he's not necessarily like a hero per se because he's done his shit, but he's willing to change, whether it be him like willingly change or he gets forced to change. And I think that is what is one of the dopest parts about him is that he changes. He's one of the few characters in Dragon Ball, the series, that actually changes,
Straight up Darwinism, man. He adapts.
And you just see a shift in him, right? Because I think about all the characters, a lot of the characters in the show, like they kind of just stay stagnant, right? Like I think about it pains me to say this, but my boy Piccolo, right? Prime example of somebody that doesn't change. He doesn't change, right? Like he's staying the babysitter, and it's continued for the last fucking 15, 20 years, right? And it's just like shit stays the same. My boy Krillin is out of the show now. You know what I'm saying? So, but Vegeta, on the other hand, he changes. He adapts. He gets molded by the experiences. He gets stronger, and he develops these different ties that I think really allows him to be a strong anti-hero.
We'll see. I need to. I haven't read the manga for the second season of Dragon Ball Super. Still looking forward to see what happens to Vegeta. I feel like there might be setting up him or Goku to become like a god of destruction. At this point, I kind of feel like Goku might.
Yeah, they're kind of teeing it up so that Goku is that, right?
Yeah, kind of. Because he does pick and choose which planets to destroy at this point for some reason. Mm-hmm. He was willing for everyone to die for the tournament for the sake of power. But also because he's confident he can wish him back. I don't know. Goku's all over the place, right? I don't want to focus on that. But Vegeta's like.
Mm-hmm.
What were you going to say? No, what were you going to say?
I was going to ask you a question, but you hadn't finished your thought, so you can finish your thought.
No, go for it. I forgot.
Okay. Are you still driving?
Yes, sir.
Where are you driving to?
Oh, LA.
No way.
I'm flying back in the morning. Yes, sir.
Why? Wait, you're going to LA and then flying back in the morning?
Yeah, I'm helping my woman.
Okay, well, hey, bless your heart, man. Well, what I was gonna say, what I was gonna ask was, where would you like Vegeta's character to go? Like, if you were a writer in the show, if you were somebody in charge of his character development, where would you like this brother to go?
I think the next thing I would like to see is for him to actually save Goku.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be nice in the next villain. I don't know if you. So for the people who have seen it already, my bad if I'm wrong or whatever. But it'd just be nice if Vegeta would be the one that's saving Goku and defeating the next villain, that one god or whatever it is, like Goku. Have you seen him?
Wait, I didn't hear that last part. What'd you say?
Have you seen that goat god, the new one?
Yeah, Moro.
Next season. Moro, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Nice if Vegeta beats that guy. I would hope that'd be the next step and just give him more equality to Goku because he does train hard, because he's just a more well-rounded character. Like we've talked about. I mean, he is the hero in essence, and I feel like that's kind of the joke to it too, because he's like I mentioned, Goku doesn't know like the basic things of being like a decent husband.
Yeah, for sure. He's so oblivious, which I really think that they like upped it up by like 10 in Super, of like just how like unaware he is. Like they really like they definitely upped it up, because he doesn't know how to do shit in Super, but he knows how to fucking fight. Know that much. But Vegeta, on the other hand,
he's a fighting genius.
But then again, I don't know, man. Vegeta sometimes, one kick and me talked about it last time, where I'm like, I wonder what type of husband he is, because he kind of strikes me as like, I'm gonna just wake up and I'm gonna go straight to the hyperbolic time chamber. I'm gonna go train. I'll see you at dinner. And that's it. Like this brother doesn't look like he does anything else but train. Yeah, I think I would love to.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Because I remember in GT he was with his daughter shopping when he had the mustache. But that's GT and everyone hates GT, so that doesn't.
Yeah, we watched the Hero's Legacy, and interesting. It looks interesting. I might have to dive in there and see GT, because it looked like it looked like
it's not good.
You said what?
I agree with most people. Not good.
Oh, you think it doesn't? Okay. Maybe when we watch it, maybe we'll bring in our other guests, because we have a GT fanatic that came on our show, and he has a strong take on it. So I think that would be an interesting piece. But what I was gonna say was that Vegeta, and I don't know if GT does this, but there's deeper stories that they could tell with him. I just wish that hopefully in the next one they dedicate at least one storyline to him, because I feel like they haven't even like touched him as regards to like him being the catalyst of a storyline. You know, he just kind of just stays as the sidekick right now, and give him some shine. And if anything, to be honest with you, I think after this they should just retire this brother. I think he should just get killed or have his own show, or maybe he has his own kingdom somewhere now or something. Because I think I can't stand to see this anymore. See my boy play second fiddle anymore. Like, I know Seriously. It's necessary, but it's just not. It's just not suiting him, you know.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, but what was like? Oh yes, I like your idea of like just kind of going back to seeing more of a dark saga of like his upbringings. I'm sure it was not easy. I'm sure he's got a lot of interesting adventures in those 10, 20 odd years he was on the free zone.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting to think about that upbringing story. I think that would be a nice way to tie it in of like, how that shaped him. And he's really like
yeah, no,
like
right? Just no, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, like it's just he has so many different stories that they could tap into that I think that I would like them to just just hit it a little bit, because right now he's a really good anti-hero. He's a really good like I don't want to call him a sidekick, but he's just that other side person that's hella strong. But I would love for them to do something else with him, because I think he's at that point where they're either gonna kill his character like they've done with Piccolo, Krillin, and everything for the sake of Goku, or they just continue having him there and do nothing, until the end of the show. But all right, man. I think
need to make. I'm just hoping they make him equal to Goku.
Yeah,
just is equal. I'd say at least.
I don't need him to be equal in my for me. I mean, that's my guy, but I don't need him to be equal. I just need him to be just something in the show. just give me a story of him, and that's it. I don't need it. I don't need him to be Super Saiyan God, Ultra Instinct. I don't need him to be doing that. But I do.
It's because yeah, you're right. He's the build-up. I mean, Goku would be a great build-up for Vegeta if he was able to do that for him. That'd be great to see. Since Goku is supposedly a super strong guy.
Yeah, that'd be dope. But I don't know if they're willing to do that.
No, yeah.
So, all right, man. I think we could wrap it up, man. Thank you, man. It's been a pleasure.
Of course.
To have you. I appreciate you logging in. You said what?
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure. Always fun to talk to you.
Yeah, man. It's fun talking to you. Yeah, man. Of course, man. It's a pleasure. Thank you for helping us out. We wish One Kick and his partner well. We also had our baby too, so we're here.
Congrats!
Thanks, man. We're in the trenches as well, so it's a blessing, and I hope our listeners. I hope all of you are well. Please leave us a rate and a review wherever you listen to the podcast. If you listen to us on YouTube, make sure you like and a subscribe button for us. If you want to send us, it's something new, but I always forget to mention it every time we record. But if you want to send us some ideas for episodes, or something that stuck out to you, you can send us an email as well. So our email is our email is podcast9091@gmail.com. I'm gonna repeat that again. The email is podcast9091@gmail.com. So hit us up through there, man. We want to engage with y'all. We want to have more conversations like this. But until next time, take care.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.